Hey, it's Gabe with API Nation. Today I'm going to show you how you can sync LeadConnector with LionDesk. All those contacts you have in LionDesk, you're putting them in there, you've been managing them. They can now be synced right into LeadConnector. That way you can do all that awesome follow-up in there as well. It's a great way to use these two tools together, and it's super easy to set up. Let me show you how. The first thing you're going to do is go to apination.com. You're going to click on Start Syncing. There you're going to see a ton of different apps you can start syncing, including marketing apps, productivity apps, real estate apps like LionDesk. I'm going to scroll on down here till I get to LeadConnector. You can see LionDesk is right next to it. Both start with L. I'm going to click on the LeadConnector, and that's going to show me all the apps I can sync with LeadConnector, all the automations I can set up to save myself some time. I'm going to scroll on down to LionDesk, and we're going to set up a sync that's going to take my LionDesk contacts and automatically always send them over into LeadConnector. So the first step is to go ahead and sign into your API Nation account. If you don't have one, create one here, or you can sign in with Google. I'm going to do that. Once you've signed into API Nation, pretty simple. We're going to connect each app, hit the big button. It's going to ask you to go ahead and sign into LionDesk and give us permission. That looks good. And you're going to do a very similar thing with LeadConnector. We're going to hit this big button. It's going to sign us in. It's going to ask us which account. If you have multiple accounts with LeadConnector, go ahead and choose the one you want to sync. These are where the LionDesk contacts are going to go. All right, there we go. The account is there. Now we're going to select it for our sync. And we're on to our final step to create the sync. Here you can see there's a bunch of different options, exactly who we're going to send over into LeadConnector. You can send over by status. You can send them over by hotness. You can send them over by source. You can even send them over by tag, so that only when you tag somebody with a certain thing, maybe even LeadConnector, then it goes ahead and sends them into LeadConnector. Or you can just leave it all, and then everybody in your LionDesk database is going to get synced into LeadConnector, which is kind of nice. Like I said, then you're using these two tools together as one. As they arrive in LeadConnector, do I want to override information if it already exists, or just fill in the blanks? I'm going to go ahead and tell it to fill in the blanks and hit subscribe. So we've created our sync, but it's not yet active. There's this big button at the top to activate it. We're going to do one final check. And again, if there's anything specific you want to do, go ahead and set up a filter for it. You can set it up by status, hotness, source, or tags. Or you come down here to this very flexible filter option here and filter by any of these other things you have going on in LionDesk. So maybe you only want to send over people from a certain zip code, or you only want to send over people who have a phone number. You can do that. You can come on down here to mapping. You can see exactly where your LionDesk contacts are going to end up in a LeadConnector. The first names are going to go to first name, last name, email is going to email. If there's anything else you want to add, you're just going to hit the plus sign, search for it, birthday, and pop it in there. This all looks good though. I'm going to go ahead and set up this sync, activate the sync. There we go. The sync is now up and running. Now all those contacts I have in LionDesk are getting pushed into my LeadConnector database, so I can follow up with them in there. And then if I continue to get contacts and leads added into LionDesk through my team or through my other efforts, maybe my Facebook ads, those will get shared with LeadConnector as well. It's a great way to use these two tools together. So that's it. That's how you set up the sync between LionDesk and LeadConnector. Get those LionDesk contacts and leads into LeadConnector up and running so you can start following up with them in there. If you have any questions or need any assistance setting up this sync, give us a phone call, shoot us an email. We're API Nation, and we're connecting the world's applications.